So you guys probably have seen the title of this video, what I will title it, and I just kind of want to talk about some things, especially since one of my videos kind of blew up, and it got over 5,000 views, and I got like 100 comments, and I got like a bunch of subscribers from that, and I just want to talk about some things. First and foremost, I just did an unboxing, and so I'll link the videos to that stuff in the cards above. So yeah, and there's that one signed by Dan Slott as well. And I did a trade for that one, and I just unboxed that one. So I'll put the videos in the cards above, and without further ado, I'll kind of talk about what I wanted to talk about in the first place, which was let me get these out of the way here. Which is this just Amazing Fantasy reprint, and this Amazing Spider-Man 1 facsimile here. And these are kind of be the main focus of what we talk about today. And this, my girlfriend got me this. Really appreciate it for that. And I kind of want to talk mainly about that and kind of my goals with collecting. I am, for those that don't know, I am into stocks and investing and stuff like that. And before I lose you guys there, one of the main reasons that I do that is because growing up we didn't really have a lot, and growing up I didn't really have a lot of stuff. I mainly just grew up playing soccer and stuff, so I just needed like a soccer ball, you know, when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about it. I didn't have comic books. I didn't know where to get comic books. And frankly, I don't think we could have even afforded them, even if we wanted to. Like many of you guys watching these videos, you know, you kind of collect most of your stuff as an adult because that's when you have your own money and stuff like that. You know, if I could go back in time, obviously I tell myself, yo, pick up, you know, ASM 300 now, right? Pick up, you know, ASM 1 now, AF15 now. And, you know, I'm on the, like, younger side of collecting. I'm in my 20s. So, you know, a lot of the guys that have most of the good stuff are just older people, more adult, you know, they have families, they're more established and stuff. My whole goal with collecting is to have these two copies. And as far as how high grade I could have the actual, you know, ASM1 and AF15, I don't know how high of a grade I could afford. I don't know how high of a grade I'm willing to go up, even if I could afford it one day, you know, in a decade or in 5 years or what have you. But that's the ultimate goal, right? And if you've seen my past videos, which I'll put an annotation, a link, or a card here in the corner. If you've seen, you know, any of my past videos, you know I have like a ton of slabs, right? I have like 30 or 40 slabs. Some of them are signed, some of them aren't. I have, you know, I don't have anything that's too crazy, right? Nothing over, I don't know, maybe I have like an $1,100 book, $1,100 book, right? I have a couple copies of ASM 300, a 9.4, and then one that's graded. I sold my other two. I have an ASM, oh, that's the ASM 300. I have ASM 238 and a 9.4. I have a bunch of First Silks that I'm really banking on. It's kind of spec, kind of not. I really like the cover as well. A couple Kemble variants of the First Silk, and then I have the Ramos variant of the First Silk in a 9.8. Then I have one of these in a 9.8, the variant in a 9.8 unsigned. I have 4 raw copies, or 2 raw copies. 2 I sent in to get graded and signed. Those are already signed. I have a Black Cat Noir, which is really hard to find for less than $1,000 right now. I don't know if I'll send that in to get signed or not. I've kind of like I did the unboxing video, and like I talked about how I kind of have grown to appreciate raw books as well. So obviously when I do get my hands on these books, they will have to be encapsulated. It has to be graded and slabbed, because to tell, like, that's how you know the worth. You can compare it on the market, last sales data, stuff like that, right? And like I said, I'm into investing, so I feel like these would be investments, right? For me, for future generations of my family. I'm trying to create some type of generational wealth or get the ball rolling on that. And if collecting can help me get there, that'd be fine. But I feel like I'd be willing to give up all the rest of my slabs for these two guys, right? One day. And that's the ultimate goal with collecting. And I feel like I have talked about this on the channel before. I don't know if I've talked about it too much, but I just feel that, especially when I watch videos of like people that tell you how to collect, and they tell you how, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. But nobody should be telling you how to collect, right? Because people collect however they want to collect. But on the flip side to that, I feel like it's easy for us to just buy things that we find cool or that we like, or maybe we think we find a good deal on something. And that's fine and all, but I also feel like you have to have some focus. And that's probably the topic of this video. You kind of have some focus, some ultimate goal, right? If you guys follow other channels, which you probably do if you watch mine, there's one really good one which I watch a lot. It's called Comic Book Investments, and I forget the guy's name, but he talks a lot about how, it kind of sucks when he goes up to to some old guys, and they're really excited about selling a collection, and then he goes and looks at the collection. These guys are expecting to retire, and the collection is just garbage, right? For lack of a better term, or for lack of, I guess I could state that a little bit simpler. It's, the collection is just not valuable, right? Because there's a lot of stuff there that isn't rare, right? There's just a lot of stuff there that you think is cool or whatever, and it's just not liquid, right? Yeah, it could have a high value on eBay, or Go Collect, or whatever you use to determine the value, but the liquidity isn't there, right? People aren't buying these things up, and he talks about how it sucks to really tell these people that these books won't move fast, right? Won't move quickly. And if this video is kind of all over the place, I apologize, because I didn't do any notes or anything like that. But one of the things that I think is happening, especially with the Black Adam movie that I just went to go see, Black Adam isn't going to make any money, right? And I thought the movie was good. But I think the type of culture that we live in, it's very very sheepish kind of culture, right? Like, people like to pile on, and kind of like, if something is cool, then they think it's cool, and they'll kind of pile on. Some of the Marvel movies haven't been too good lately, and they've made close to a lot of money, right? And with Warner Brothers canceling a bunch of DC shows, and they canceled Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever, I wonder what the state of DC Comics will be in the future. If you don't have, like, if you collect DC and you don't have like high grails, right? Like keys, like major keys, right? I wonder what that collection will be worth. Because think about it, the people that are willing to pay a lot of money for an ASM 300, a 9.8, a First Black Cat, ASM 194, a amazing Marvel Spotlight 32, right? First appearance of Spider-Woman in 9.8. People that are willing to pay $4,000, $3,000 for those books are adults that wanted those books as a kid, right? Or that have a particular interest for that, like, in the future, right? So the people that are willing to buy DC in the future have to be the kids of today, right? Have to be teenagers of today. And if DC isn't doing well in the box office, on TV, what are those collections going to be worth in 10, 15 years? Where's the liquidity going to come from? Who's going to be wanting to buy that, right? So that's one thing, right? I collect Spider-Man and only Spider-Man. Anything related to Spider-Man, right? Venom, Spider-Man, Carnage, first appearances of Spidey villains and stuff. Because that's my focus. You know, if I started collecting, you know, a Batman key, a Superman key, a, you know, X-Men key, you know, I'm losing focus, right? Then I turn up, then my collection just looks like a bunch of cool stuff, right? And some of it might be liquid, some of it might not be, right? Second of all, you know, you could put some of that random stuff that you buy into something else, right? So it's crazy, right? Because I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of collectors could afford an AF-15 or a Spider-Man one, and maybe they want to have it, but then they, you know, you look at their stuff, they look at their PC, and maybe they bought, you know, they weren't as focused as they could have been, you know, especially like a giant size X-Men or, you know, all that cool stuff that people want. Dude, you probably have like 30 or 40 slabs that are just like meh, you know, they're like kind of whatever keys, you know, minor keys or whatever, and they're not as liquid. And now you want, you know, a grail, like an investment piece, right? So I guess that's my what I'm trying to get at for this whole video. And again, I don't want to tell anyone how to collect, and I don't want to offend anyone, but as a piece of advice, and more so to myself, just have focus. Because you could have a, you know, collect and slash invest if you do things properly. And that's my focus, right? My focus is just collecting Spider-Man related stuff and Spider-Man keys, Spider-Man slabs, things that will hold value, right? Like first cover appearance of Venom, ASM 316, right? Maybe now that with the Craven movie coming out, right? Madam Web slabs, right? Like ASM 210, first Madam Web, obviously the first Morbius, which I don't have, things like that, right? Have focus, have a little bit of focus. Your collection will thank you for it. It will look more cohesive, and it could turn into like an investment piece, right? Things that are liquid. You know, there will always be liquidity for Spider-Man keys, Spider-Man slabs. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on my situation and what I want to ultimately have going forward. Is an ASM1, you know, probably in a low grade because I'm not rich by any means, and an AF-15 in a really low grade. But, you know, right now I think an AF-15 goes for maybe $10,000 a grade point, right? So, you know, a 3.0 is like 30,000, a 2.0 is like 20,000, you know, a 1.0 is like 10,000. But it gets tricky. There's not that, it's not as simple as that, right? In the lower grades, because there's more people can afford those, you pay more than 10,000 per grade, per one number grade. In the mid grades, there's not as people can't really afford the mid grades as much, so it's not 1-to-1, right? You're not paying the same like $10,000 per number grade, right? So like a 6.0 or a 7.0 probably won't jump, right, 10 grand, because the liquidity isn't there, right? Now then you start getting to like the high grades or whatever, and that's when, you know, things start getting crazy. But you know, the market's always changing, so don't take my word on that. But yeah, that's my ultimate goal, is to have ASM1 and an ASM 15 and you know, hopefully one day we'll get there, and I'll just have them forever in the PC. Have them in a vault somewhere, right? And I don't know, you know, have them in a vault in the bank. I don't know. Like, I know there's people that do that, especially some people here on YouTube. Um, but man, that's just my 2 cents. Keep focused and collect what you like. Don't collect the hype. I bought a first Deadpool, New Mutants 98. Then the movie got announced. I need to keep focus. The book went up in value. I trade out of it for something else that I want. It was just a good moment, right? Good. It was a good thing to do. You know, how valuable will the first appearance of Deadpool ever gonna be? I don't know, right? That book is a more modern book. I think it was like late 80s, early 90s, something like that. I don't really remember. I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan. But yeah, man, just keep in mind the MCU, keep in mind DC, keep in mind what those collections will be worth in the future, right? Who's going to be buying those up 20, 30, 40 years from now? Who knows, right? But yeah, if there's a book that you like, that you think you could get a good deal on, but it's not within your focus, just put that money towards something else, right? Those $200, $300, put it towards something else that you really want. A 9.8 and whatever, right? Don't just buy things because it's a good deal as well, especially when the market's kind of dropping a little bit. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Also, I kind of want to talk about variants, modern variants. There's just too many variants, bro. Like, just insane amount of variants. I'll probably make a video on that. But yeah, that's probably it. Like I said, I'll leave the annotation cards up, and I'll flash some videos on the screen that you guys can watch. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and peace. Oh, and then also follow me on Instagram. I have almost 1,000 followers now, and I don't really post a lot, which I probably should be posting more. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at Spidey Comic Collector, and I post a lot of pictures of things that I have. I haven't posted everything because then I'm gonna run out of content. I'm kind of slowly like letting it drip, but yeah, man, peace.